There's a secret the most magnetic women in the world know. It has nothing to do with outer beauty, money, or youth. It's so subtle, so powerful, that once you apply it, he'll choose you even with 1,000 other options. Have you ever wondered why some women have an inexplicable pull? Why men who once seemed indifferent suddenly turn to them like sunflowers to the sun? The answer isn't in the usual advice, don't play hard to get. Don't chase. Be perfect. The truth is deeper, more primal. But first, a hard truth: most women are doing the opposite of what works. They try too hard, proving their worth, competing for attention in ways that make them invisible. Have you ever poured your heart out being the perfect, available, understanding woman, yet he still didn't choose you? That feeling of not being special enough cuts deep, like a whisper inside saying you need to be prettier, younger, more interesting. What if I told you that pain is a gateway to your true feminine power? Jung's discovery defies everything society teaches about attraction and relationships. It's so simple it feels obvious once you grasp it, yet so revolutionary it can transform your life in days. Imagine knowing exactly what to do to be the most captivating woman a man has ever met, not through tricks or manipulation, but from the deepest, most sacred core of who you are. A woman who masters this secret doesn't compete, doesn't shrink, doesn't over-try. She simply lives in her fullness, and men are drawn to that energy like moths to a flame. Today, you'll uncover this secret, understand why it works, and most importantly, learn how to apply it to your life. Because it's time to stop settling for scraps of attention. It's time to be chosen not as an option, but as the only choice. Are you ready to step into this truth? Say to yourself, I am ready to be chosen. Say it like your heart knows it's time for a shift, the journey to the secret. To understand this secret, let's dive into the psychology of men, where Jung uncovered something few dare to explore. Over 41 years, he studied thousands of relationships, couples madly in love, men who gave up everything for one woman, connections that seemed almost magical. He noticed a pattern, one that defies conventional logic. The women who are truly chosen aren't always the most beautiful, youngest, or successful. There's something else, something invisible yet as powerful as a force of nature. He calls it the magnetic presence of femininity. But what does that mean? And why do some women seem to have it naturally while others search for it their whole lives? The answer lies in the primal layers of our nature. When a man meets a woman, something ancient awakens in him, beyond reason or logic. It's like an old part of his brain lights up, recognizing something sacred in her. But here's the problem. Modern society has disrupted this natural dynamic. We're taught to compete like men, to prove our worth through achievements, to be strong in ways that disconnect us from our true power. Have you noticed that when you try to impress a man, he pulls away? When you strive to be perfect, his interest fades. That's not a coincidence. It's because you're acting against your deepest nature. Men don't want to be impressed, they want to be inspired. They don't want a woman who competes with them, they want one who complements them. This distinction is everything. Jung found that there's a feminine state that acts like a portal, connecting you to your purest essence and awakening something in him he didn't even know he was seeking. This state can't be faked or mimicked. Like trying to replicate a rose's scent, you might get close, but the soul knows the difference. Think of women you admire, those with that special presence. They don't try to stand out, they just are. And in that being, there's a wholeness so compelling it draws others in. How do you reach this state? How do you reclaim that essence after years of learning to be someone else? It starts with a paradox to be chosen. You must first choose yourself, not selfishly or narcissistically, but in a deeply sacred way. You must reconnect with the woman you were before the wounds and disappointments, a version of you who knew her worth without proving it, a version who wasn't afraid of vulnerability because she knew it was her strength, a version who wasn't afraid of love because she understood true love doesn't diminish, it multiplies. Jung calls this the return to your sacred feminine. When a woman embarks on this journey back to herself, something extraordinary happens. She becomes a beacon. Men sense her light from afar, but not every man can handle it. Insecure men feel threatened. Immature men feel unworthy. Only a man ready for real love can approach this energy without fear. That's the beauty of it when you operate from this sacred place. You automatically attract the right man. No more chasing men who just want to play. No more drawing in those incapable of emotional depth. Instead, you attract men ready to choose, commit, and love. This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up. On the contrary, you become powerful in a way few understand, strong without aggression, confident without arrogance. A woman who masters this secret moves through the world differently. She speaks differently. She loves differently. And men feel that difference in every cell of their being. Have you ever felt that spark of your true essence trying to break free? Say it now, I choose myself first. Say it like you're reclaiming your power. The secret revealed surrender. What's the secret? It might surprise you because it's not about what you do for him. It's what you do for yourself. And, paradoxically, that's why he chooses you above all others. After decades of research, Jung distilled this secret into one word: surrender. But not surrender out of weakness. Surrender is the bravest act a woman can do. When you surrender to your true feminine essence, you stop fighting the flow and start moving with it. And in that flow, you become irresistible. What does surrender mean? It means letting go of the need to control outcomes. It means stopping the urge to force love. It means trusting that when you are truly yourself, real love will find you. Here's how it works in practice. A woman who surrenders stops doing what most women instinctively do when they like a man. She stops being constantly available. She stops trying to fix his problems. She stops sacrificing herself to prove her worth. Instead, she does something revolutionary. She keeps her life full and vibrant. Whether he's there or not, she becomes an island of paradise in the ocean of life, magnetic enough to draw him in. Men sense this instantly. Their primal instincts recognize she doesn't need him, but she's open to wanting him. That distinction ignites something deep in their psychology, not a need to conquer, but a desire to be worthy of her. Let me give you a real example. Mary, 46, spent a decade trying to win back her ex-husband. She did everything for him, always there, always proving she was the perfect woman. Yet he came and went, never truly choosing her. When Mary discovered this secret, she did something unthinkable. She stopped. She stopped calling, helping, fixing his problems. Instead, she started living for herself. She picked up painting, a passion she'd abandoned years ago. She traveled alone. She made new friends, rediscovered her dreams. And something magical happened. The more whole she became without him, the more he craved her. Months later, he showed up at her door, begging for another chance, not because she changed for him, but because she became the woman he couldn't stop thinking about. Here's the deepest part of the secret: surrender isn't a tactic, a game. or playing hard to get. It's a profound inner shift. It's connecting so deeply with yourself that you naturally radiate an energy no one can resist. Jung describes 3 pillars of this sacred surrender. 1. Emotional independence. This doesn't mean you don't want love or connection, but your sense of wholeness doesn't depend on any one man. You're complete on your own, and that completeness draws him in. 2. Conscious presence. When you're with a man, you're fully present in that moment, giving your energy authentically. When you're not, you don't obsess over him. You live your life, free from clinging to his attention. 3. The 3rd pillar is not provided in the original text, as it cuts off. To maintain fidelity to the original, I will not invent or assume the 3rd pillar. Instead, I'll note that the narrative implies it would further elaborate on embodying this feminine essence, likely focusing on authenticity or self-trust, based on the context. Have you ever felt the power of letting go and trusting yourself? Say it now: I surrender to my true essence. Say it like you're ready to become the woman who is chosen. Your life is rich, vibrant, and thriving, whether he's there or not. The 3rd pillar Jung calls unconditional self-love. You love yourself not for what you do or achieve, but simply for who you are. This energy of self-love is like an invisible perfume, drawing true love to you naturally. When these 3 pillars, emotional independence, conscious presence, and unconditional self-love come together, something extraordinary happens. You become a flame. And men, like moths, can't resist your light. But here's the most important part: this isn't about manipulating men. It's about returning to your truest self. When you do, you naturally attract men who match your level of growth. The right man for you sees and values your wholeness. He doesn't want to dim your light, he wants to grow alongside you. He sees your independence not as a threat, but as a gift. That's where the magic happens. When you stop chasing love and start living it, love begins to chase you. When you stop trying to be someone else and choose yourself, when you love yourself unconditionally, you become magnetic to those who truly matter. This works at any age. Whether you've been single for years or just ended a relationship, it works if you want to rekindle a past love or attract something new. Because the secret isn't in your external circumstances, it's in your inner transformation. A woman who masters this sacred surrender never begs for love. She never settles for crumbs or half-hearted relationships. She becomes selective not out of pride, but out of wisdom. She knows her love is sacred and deserves to be treated as such. The man lucky enough to win her heart knows he's found a treasure. He doesn't take her for granted because he feels she chooses him every day. That conscious choice creates a deep, lasting love. This is the secret that can transform your romantic life forever. It's not about becoming someone else, it's about living authentically, without masks, games, or fear. Now that you know this secret, your life will never be the same. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you embrace your true feminine power, you'll never accept less than what you deserve. But let's be honest, this shift isn't easy. It challenges everything we've been taught about love and relationships. You'll need to let go of habits that have defined you for decades. You'll need to release the belief that you must strive to be loved. You'll need to unlearn the idea that your worth depends on a man's approval. And the scariest part, you'll need to let go of the fear that you'll end up alone if you stop chasing. You'll need to trust that being your true self will draw real love to you. Trust that you deserve love you don't have to beg for. Trust that someone out there will choose you not despite who you are, but because of who you are. The rewards of this transformation are breathtaking. Imagine waking up each day knowing you're whole, with or without a man by your side. Imagine the freedom of loving without fear, without clinging, without needing to control the outcome. Imagine entering a relationship not because you need someone to feel worthy, but because you choose to share your vibrant, full life with someone special. Imagine being loved for who you truly are, not a version you pretend to be. This shift changes everything, not just in love, but in life, at work. You'll stop seeking constant validation and trust your instincts. With friends, you'll stop competing and start celebrating each other. With yourself, you'll build a relationship of love and respect, the foundation for every other connection in your life. Jung found that women who make this journey back to themselves don't just attract better partners, they build stronger, longer-lasting, more fulfilling relationships. Why? Because when you don't depend on a relationship for your wholeness, you can truly love. You can give without emptying yourself, receive without feeling indebted, argue without fearing abandonment, and be vulnerable without fearing pain. A man in a relationship with such a woman feels it instantly. He doesn't feel pressured to be her sole source of happiness. He doesn't walk on eggshells, afraid of letting her down. He can be himself and love freely. Here's the paradox: this path makes you far more selective. Men who once seemed intriguing will reveal their emotional immaturity. Relationships you once tolerated will suddenly feel unacceptable, and that's a good thing. When you raise your inner standards, you naturally attract those who match your level. You'll stop attracting time wasters and start drawing in men ready for mature love. Some women fear this selectivity. What if I end up alone, they ask. But here's the truth: it's better to be whole and alone than together and empty. It's better to have one great love in your lifetime than a string of mediocre relationships. And the reality is, once you reach this state of inner wholeness, you're rarely alone for long. Your magnetic energy naturally draws those who align with your growth. Imagine how this shifts your conversations with men. Instead of trying to impress or please, you're simply authentic. Instead of worrying about what he thinks, you're curious about who he is. Instead of stressing over whether he'll call, you're busy living your full life. This shift is felt immediately. A man senses he's with a woman who knows and values herself, igniting a deep desire to be worthy of her. And the most beautiful part: this transformation is contagious. When you start truly loving yourself, you inspire other women to do the same. When you stop competing and start uplifting, you elevate the feminine energy around you. Your friends notice the change. Your family feels the difference. And the men in your life, they all respond to this new energy in ways that surprise you. An ex who lost interest might suddenly reappear. A polite colleague might show genuine interest. New men might enter your life unexpectedly. But here's what matters most: you won't settle for just any attention. You'll consciously choose where to invest your emotional energy, valuing only the men ready to receive the love you offer. That's the greatest outcome of this secret: you'll never accept less than you deserve. And that, my dear, will change your life forever. A woman who knows herself radiates an undeniable energy. A woman who loves herself attracts true love. A woman who chooses herself every day will be chosen by the right man at the right time. Does this spark a revolution inside you? Say it now: I am enough, and I choose myself. Say it like your heart is ready to claim its worth.